Muy buenas noches compañeros, mi nombre es Duan Reyes. El día de hoy les voy a leer un artículo de la Universidad de Harvard que en español traduce Haga que sea seguro para los empleados hablar, especialmente en tiempos de riesgo. The world uncertainty index remains high but fails, where inflation and layoffs are contributing to a growing sense of instability and unease. An HR manager at a technology field tells us, just seeing your team decrease from 35 to 18 can be very scary. It brings forth strong anxiety and worry over your job. Whenever the world seems like a scary place, it's natural for people to avoid taking risks in order to protect themselves. In our reach and consulting with organizations, we're seeing this risk version permit both virtual and real world hallways, resulting in employees being reluctant to speak up. We know that in stable times, companies learn faster and better when employees reveal errors, raise ideas, pose questions, and challenge perspective. In stable times, those same acts on knowledge sharing, pressure texting, and feedback are even more vital, often making the difference between companies that innovate and adapt in those that don't. For organization to weather the storms ahead, they need to relevant every asset they have, including the full set of talents and insignia available as in their workforce. Psychological safety, the belief that one can speak with up without risks on punishment or humiliation, is what enables employees to use their voice. And it's more important than ever that leaders build it. Why silence is safer? People don't want to take risks that may harm their reputation or livelihoods, which makes sense when you compare the outcomes of voice versus silence. As the following chapter adapted from Amy's books. The Fillers organization highlights spinning up is an act that mainly benefits the organization and our customers, not the individual employee. Moreover, those benefits aren't ever worth it and tend to take time to materialize. Meanwhile, holding back gives the employee the instant and certain benefit of feeling safe from exposure. Leader must grasp this asymmetry in order to avoid the all too common tendency to blame employers for staying silent. Why should they make a perceived sacrifice to their career for the sake of a distant, unsure gain for others? It is thus the responsibility of leaders to make speaking up worth employer while auditing yourself and your workplace. Your employers aren't the only ones who need psychological safety in order to use their voice at work. As people rise in organization, the pressure to hold back increase. As inside Professor Giampiero Pietriglieri eloquently wrote, "Times doth not summon courage, it only morphs the fear of speaking through to power into the fear of speaking through in power." The reality is that most leaders are not demonstrating the behaviors that drive psychological safety for themselves or others, as reached by McKinsey and Company has found. When we work with senior executives, we ask them to turn a mirror on themselves before focusing on the behaviors of others. For example, at a company that had recently announced thousands for job cuts, Constance asked of business unit leaders or if she felt increased pressure to present a rosy pictures of her unit's work. The C-suite, board of directors, and Wall Street. The leaders refused admitted that she did and therefore as actively trying the resist her own temptation to sell sensor around this audience. For embarking on a psychological safety campaign, take some time to audit your own fears and behaviors. When do you speak up? When do you hold back? The answer will provide close and to the risk tolerance claimed you and your employees face. Importantly, remember that if you find that your own psychological safety, your willingness to take risks is allow you're not doubt softly signaling to survivors that it's better to hold back. The winning formula for psychological safety. Thank you. Thankfully, Amy Long ago developed a winning formula for creating psychological safety. Clarify the rationale for speaking up. Issue target invitation reduce if no might eliminate punishment and implies rewards. Here are some ways to implement the winning formula in your workplace. Clarify the rationale. Show your employees why each of their contributions are needed, not only for some far off future, but right now. Discussing where you encourage speaking up should not be separated from conversation about strategy, marketing, ID, operation, finance, etc. In fact, making the link between those businesses activities and speaking up is essential for motivating engagement. For example, explain why attracting new customers is dependent upon each team members bold ideas and different perspectives, or convene how and rigorous collaborative, the strength and weakness assessment will help the company the developers build a better products. Alternatively of the businesses is focused on cost cutting explain why people should still highlight and learn from mistakes or challenge the status quo. These acts feel especially perilous when the prospect of job losses loom large. For example, employees might fear that revealing a problem at manufacturing line while increase the change of plant closures, while in truth it might be exactly what's needed to ensure the plant's future. In addition, employees may need to hear that those who demonstrated initiative and critically thinking you believe a contributing. Eh, in our experience, it takes many interaction and form on communication before employees start to internalize this new way of thinking, clarifying the rationality envelopes, convening why and how speaking up benefit each employee individually as well as the organization. Be explicit about this logic and repent if often. I should target invitation. Many managers think vague invitation for input are sufficient. They are not. For example, we meet innumerable managers who report having an open door policy in the office of being available anytime for quick teams chat. Yet those same managers also report a lack of cutting and timely input from their employees. Even if you have town hall, listening tours, Slack channel and culture surveys, it still takes effort and follow up to ensure that they're working. Otherwise, you're at risk of missing important aspect of what's happening or of erring for only those employees who are especially passionate about in is provide employer specific direction for how to effectively speak up and about what. Ask them direct questions to get their perspectives. If you host a town hall, be explicit with attempts about the topic you need input and advance. Another practice is hosting monthly one-on-ones with each direct report with use to agenda items. What should I know but don't right now? And how can be I better support your risk taking? The structured invitation don't have to be complicated. They need to be clear and targeted. Stand or punishment. Humans are constantly monitoring their environment. Employer constantly and unconsciously notice and body language, verbalization, and action that follow any acts of risk taking. The case of social science which have shown us that bad in stronger that good when it comes to reinforcing human behaviors. This means humans vigilant, watch for negative consequence of speaking up with softly correct any that emerge. Your responses as the boss carry heavy weight. It's essential to monitor and modulate your expression and behaviors to convey opens and gratitude in the face of challenge. When you make a mistake, we'll all do such and getting upset about bad news. Apology quickly. Engage a coach to help you with this if needed. Your goals is to write the social system of signature ridicule and disregard toward those who speak up. This may require individual and them training to build up skills. Practice via roles, plays, and simulation may also be helpful. helpful. Stack up rewards. Reducing and downside of speaking upside is necessary, and so is creating up upside. Start by over indexing on appreciation. Speaking up is an act of generosity. It involves an employee doing something that reals potential harm for to them individually but benefit the collective, so thanks them publicly, privately, often and with sincerity. Why do I have thanks someone for doing their job? We hear manager grump, we say responses. Are you sure that clearly part of their job? Really ask yourself that question are acts of candor backed in performance appraise, competition, bonus, and promotions. Are teams being celebrated for having honest conversation that catch errors early, envelop he- healthy forms of conflict, and generate feels on inclusion in you're not sure? Then this a good time to raise your performance management system alignment between what you ask of employees and what you reward is critical for enhancement and holds both sides accountable. Básicamente lo que nos habla el artículo eh, es de los últimos tiempos, por así decirlo, ya que nos habla de los problemas de la actualidad, como la guerra, la inflación y el miedo a reducir personal por la inestabilidad laboral. Hacer un trabajo psicológico, por decirlo de alguna manera, al empleado dándole como una especie de seguridad al hablar, sin miedo a castigo o algún tipo de humillación. Todo esto ayuda a que se construya como una especie de vínculo trabajador-empleado que ayuda a tener una mejor relación laboral, por decirlo de alguna manera. Y básicamente de esto se trata el artículo de Harvard que traducido al español nuevamente les indico, haga que sea seguro para los empleados hablar especialmente en tiempos de riesgo. Muchas gracias.